Welcome back to the another edition of AEW Collision Out of 10. This week's show featured not only the pretenders of the throne Jay White taking on AR Fox, but we also saw the actual AEW World Champion MJF defending his title in a banger match against Kenny Omega. Sheila also put her title on the line against Abaddon. The House of Black, after returning last week, keeping things interesting too, but we started things off with White versus Fox, and it opened with Bullet Club Gold making their full four-man entrance. Fox had a slight side advantage, but it wasn't enough to make a big difference. So White had the upper hand right away due to having 3 men at ringside who were always trying to find ways to cheat for each other. The battle started off plainly enough. They looked up, struggled for control and traded some chops in the corner. You could tell both guys were practicing themselves at first, but Springfall Stunner from Fox immediately amped things up. This was more competitive than it needs to be, but still for the obvious start getting a win. Fox is barely being on AEW TV 1 week, so good to see him back. But yeah, he was never going to beat White realistically. Switchblade hit the Bay Run and scare the pin and the win. But yeah, it's a bit predictable. MJF tried to steal the belt back, but was thwarted by the rest of BCG. But a fun start to the show, despite kind of we all knew where it's going. 7 out of 10. Austin and Colton Gunn were then able to set ringside for the next match. They took on the boys. Dalton Castle accompanied his allies to win, and their presence made no difference. The match was over quickly, and it's basically a squash victory to pull them up before it's time for Shida versus Abaddon. Shida showed up in the Ada Wrong cosplay from Resident Evil, while Abaddon wore her usual attire and freaky face paint. This was basically a hardcore match with no rules, no weapons, and Halloween themed items were scattered around the ring and used often. This was designed to be fun, goofy Halloween themed, and both women were up to the challenge. They incorporated some fun sport while still making it felt like a competitive fight. This was easily the best exposure Abaddon has had since arriving in AEW. The fans loved Shida, but plenty of people were cheering for the green haired grappler every time they gained the upper hand. The champion retained her title with a katana kick, but Abaddon came away looking like a real threat from this. So yeah, I think in a way it kind of built Abaddon up even in defeat here. So yeah, like I say, worked nicely, and yeah, gets a 6 out of 10 for me. It's never really in doubt, but I think in a way it did its job quite well. Next up on Collision, we got Samoa Joe, who was in action against Reed Titus, who's been an RH regular since Tony Khan took over. It was for the title, but it continued a trend of it being a squash match. And yeah, just quickly moving on, but yeah, really less RH TV matches and less squash matches on AEW TV, please. But it's then time for Ricky Starks versus Dax Harwood in a singles match, continuing the feud between two teams. House Black was shown watching in the crowd. Julia Hart was on the stage. They immediately distracted Harwood and put him off his game. Wheeler and Bill were ringside to support their respective partners, but kept the focus shifting to Malachi Black, Brody King and Buddy Matthews. A hard-hitting match that saw both men take a couple of big bumps. The camera kept cutting to show the house back, but the longer the match went on, the more focus shifted back to the action in the ring. Starks proved his tag title win wasn't a fluke when he scored the win, but as soon as the match was over, the lights went out. Hart was shown on stage for a moment before House Black appeared to the ring. Rouge, Jalisco and Vance joined in and created a standoff with NFI, and FTR appeared to team up and started a huge brawl. And yeah, this is a really good way to end it. I thought, obviously, Starks getting a big win, and then the tag team division really exploding his life, showing the talent that AEW have. And yeah, how it's all going to tie in if we're going to get big match, who knows, but I really like the way we're getting this. 7 out of 10. We then got another squash match. Claudio was in a bad mood as he took on Tracy Williams, and he took a stiff uppercut and never quite found his footing after that, and the Swiss Superman's feasting soundly. Less squash matches, please. Before it's time for our big main event, MJF versus Omega. And yeah, the match could go any headline of any AEW pay-per-view, so going on a random episode Collision was a nice surprise. The official introduction took place with 30 minutes left in the show, so Tony Khan gave them plenty of time to bait this special. They started off with a nice technical exchange of holds and counters, and the crowd chanted both of their names back and forth. MJF was hitting moves like he almost never uses a running move, so out of the ring he was playing to the crowd quite a bit, and the fans were giving him much more in return. Other than the fact it was just another episode of Collision, everything about the presentation made this felt big, and both made sure they brought their A game. For nearly 30 minutes, these two delivered a fantastic performance that will easily stand as one of the best in the history of Collision. Don Callis showed up with a screwdriver just as Omega was preparing to hit his finisher. The ref ejected him, but the distraction gave MJF enough time to recover. Everyone's favourite scumbag used a couple of Adam Cole's move for hitting a Heartsaker for one of the biggest wins of his career. And yeah, this was quite an exceptional match. 8 out of 10. A bit rushed, but the story behind it, Omega failing to meet the record, MJF getting it. It was a fantastic match. We all knew he was going to win. Don Callis there as well. But yeah, just technical masterclass. Absolutely brilliant end to Collision. 8 out of 10 from me. Fantastic stuff. Overall, AEW Collision gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, a really enjoyable episode of Collision. The main event was quite exceptional. Some really good matches in there as well. But yeah, I mean, I said it throughout, and my complaint is probably just not have so many squash matches here, because it did become a bit tiresome, to be honest. But on the whole, a brilliant episode of Collision, caught by that fantastic main event. But anyway, guys, that's it for here. Thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and it's also daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.